Hello, hi. Welcome back to, I guess, me thanking you for the 47,000th time of just putting up with this so far because I'm still. Wish only I could describe how much this has helped in terms of the mental trajectory of how much I felt like this story needed to be told in terms of it like it being the obvious of it helping other people and things like that. Mostly, it. I don't even know if I mentioned it, but this is just high intro. It's a Monday. I'm not even trying to be awake. I'm on autopilot. I'm trying though. Uh, Starting to do this at like a certain. I started starting this into like a precedent to where I was like, I want to just talk about this and just put it out there. If somebody, we've already. Now I can feel like one of those people. Sounds so mean. Excuse me. You can watch my other YouTube videos just to get it. No, but seriously, yeah. You can probably. Anyway, for those that have. I cringe at myself just saying this, but like for those that have, like, like seen what I've put out there so far, you can probably notice there's been like a upheaval in terms of being able to navigate, be more not just open, but yeah, mainly because I was always afraid to just share my feelings in general since this lawsuit. I'm sure you can imagine why, because lawsuits you can't really like just say, hey, I'm going through this right now. This lotion it smells so good. That Bath and Body Works. Anyway, random that eucalyptus spearmint. Oh, um, can't really just go around like the people were like shout out to homie that commented about their work experience up in one of the comments. But anyway, this is mainly just a highlight, like for those that are going through this crap. Another intro, la di da. Um, Watch this, I guess, if this might help. To especially dude that commented and was like, yeah, I'm going through the same thing, but it made it just wanted to, I guess, say thank you. I don't know. It's not to like just take a moment and like get over that and get a big head from it because obviously I'm not putting editing into this. Not to sound like a jerk or something. Like I don't care, but to the best of my ability, we're gonna have like a decent microphone. Try my best for, cause yeah, listening to myself talk right now, But shout out to dude that had commented on one of the videos where it's like you can't really just go around talking about, especially legality things openly, and people if you just show it for work, it's like I was actually just not like to go off into random tangents, but this all started like it cultivated and derived from like talking to my mom about this recently. What even sparked the whole feeling compelled to just put these videos out there. We were just my mom and I were on the topic of this in general, and I was like, man, I just feel sorry for like even like I feel bad to apologize that I was trying to pursue the right thing. It eventually made us like lose our home. Um, Not even that, but just things that beyond irreparable, that like relationship wise, coming home every day to like not feel like I don't know, anxious. I'm not anxious, but talking about this is stressful. Butterfingers, but like anyway, people are like, long story short, it's like, when you. I was telling my mom earlier, this was recently, it's like, I was telling her, I was like, man, this has been helping me a lot, different conversation, in terms of this little YouTube documentary venture thing. I don't know what you would call this, vlogging. Anyway, so I was like, I know my mom doesn't do this shit, but it's just funny. It's like, You don't just show up like, hey, coworker, good to see you. I'm so happy to, see you for like the 42nd time. Yeah, I don't know what number I'm on with that, but like literally, I'm pretty sure most people can probably relate to that because I was definitely one of those people that was pegged as, and it doesn't bother me. I'm total gamer and things like that, so that was, just high intro, whatever. This is what this video is about. When I was promoted to assistant general manager at Papa John's, working for like minimum wage for 2 months, and then realizing just suddenly like just follow your gut because that's where it all started, and just realizing like something ain't right. And just obviously if you work like, put in 40 something hours into a job and it's definitely not reflecting that, like what, not just the wage you were promised, but yeah, pretty much, yeah. You're gonna be like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay rent if this is the case. So anyway, I know I'm trying really hard to get better at this, and it's really helped tremendously that, I don't know, just putting this out there, talking about it. Thanks to those, I mean, this is just a whole different like platform of like, YouTube is like, something, it's like a video essay. I like to watch those. I don't care, I'm a nerd anyway. And for me personally, it's like I would watch like, just an example, like, somebody talking about like a long account of I like just a random, like it's totally random, totally unrelated, but like I tried out for America's Next Top Model, so like watching somebody just talking about that whole thing in depth, like that's something, anyway, that would pique my interest if I was to be on this type of subject, topic, matter, spreading awareness and things like that. So on top of that though, that's pretty much it. After I was promoted to an assistant general manager, I know I kept saying a assistant general, that was bothering me. Anyway, an assistant general manager, I was still pretty much like sending people home. Not even just that, but like counting store cash. I'm expected to make sure that this store is not short on, the money that is provided, I guess, by the company. Anyway, that's something, one of your manager duties is making like this little rickety lockbox. We didn't have, I think we had like this specific store that I worked at where this all happened, but there was a little safe that I don't even think that thing was, definitely you would, yeah, but what the money was, it's just a little, but I was pretty much expected the same amount of duties that you would be expected of. I know I sound like I'm on a script. I'm just, anyway. That's helping me out mainly. For minimum wage, pretty much, if I had not noticed that, I wonder how long it would have been. Like damn. So yeah, this is why this video is being made. Blah blah blah. Yada yada. And hopefully this duration will be as long as, I did not even realize that it was like almost 3 hours. I was just like, dude, this, anyway, it's making me feel so much better seeing the feedback and things like that, but also, we gotta take a moment because it breaks my fucking heart. I'm the one that just has to be like, can we just take a moment for those that, it really hit hard and home with me. I don't know how to really articulate that best way I can with this, like how I said earlier, like, happy to see you, coworker. I've been invited one time, this is a different job, but like a coworker sleepover party. It was like a retail job and like all girls kind of thing, but I was just like, I'd rather be at home playing video games, honestly. If I remember, I don't know if this, I'll just not get too far up, but I can't remember if I had to like work the next day. So I was like, hell no, I don't want to like spend the night, and then no, like, and they're still really cool. Like I'm that's just, I like my own free time. I don't know. Everybody's different. We all have different anyway, that's what makes the world so cool, because we all have different things about us. Anyway, that would piss each other off, and we're like, what? Why? No, it's just literally this. You probably saw the corner of it, but that's just to mention. I'm not. This is going to be a different video, but I like to do art and stuff. It's probably anyway, but the, if you know, you know. That's from GTA 5. I know it's blurry, but let's see. Anyway, I will be on this for probably like 6 something hours, but literally, I just had my. I don't know. Excuse me. Anyway, so about 10 minutes, what I think into this already. We barely established anything besides, yeah, definitely gonna timestamp this. And yeah, this is just to recount what I went through, uh, because it was absolute, just horrifying, I guess, in hindsight, looking back now, because especially we're recounting now and starting to go back to, I remember where we left off at, but I mean, I just had to make sure, but anyway. The dude that yelled at me over the phone, I think he was the regional manager, so he was like supposed to kind of oversee things, like overstate, like if he was called to go to like a store to just like deal with something, I don't know, something like what I was basically trying to get a claim, like file paperwork, writing, like on this day, this happened, blah, 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 blah. Because this was after the retroactive pay thing was going down. It had been resolved, and then after that, things at work just started to get really, like, I wouldn't say, like, that's the definition of, like, toxic or hostile work environment, but definitely not feeling welcome. I don't expect that. I know it probably seems the way, I'm interested in doing model. I've always been in that sector anyway, just interested in modeling and stuff like that, whatever. You're supposed to kind of already look inviting. I don't really care. I understand, like, not, respect is earned, so, like, anyway, that's just my take, but literally, the dude that yelled at me over the phone, that was one of the just most profound, I want to say that, this came to mind first thing, profoundly, like, wow, I wish I had that recorded moment. But yeah, in terms of those people, like other guy that had mentioned going through similar, and there was like no store cameras where I was at. But also, if you don't have proof, yeah, especially the store, if you're working at it and it seems sketchy that there's no like type of audit, like let's say a surveillance camera, store, anything. Something ain't right. Yeah, we're not doing that here. Sorry. For me to realize that, it was where we started with retroactive pay. And once I got in touch with the regional manager to simply ask for pay, I'm doing what my friend's mom taught me to do. She's like, okay, what I want you to do is do blah, 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 blah. This is called chain of command. And she had been through a lawsuit with, like, United Postal Service or something. So, like, some shit, like, that's like the federal government, anyway. Like, that shit, ugh. I can only imagine how stressful that fucking was for her. This is just, like, playground shit for her. So she's like, do this, do that, and I'm like, that's fine, We as, like, what? I'm 29, I'm say like we're as millennials, but we weren't ever really taught this kind of stuff growing up, so that's where it's like, damn. Making sure you are adamant about something being, documented. Trying not to be on a soapbox. I'm sorry, but literally, I'm grateful that this is something that I can use as some type of platform to put this out there. Some type of like therapy as well, because I'm doing this like once a week and it's awesome, but like, Mondays, I guess most of us are kind of just chilling, but anyway, at some point in the day, this is like 3 in the afternoon, so anyway, it's all a nice day outside, appreciating that. Besides that though, I'm not trying to get caught up in anything besides we're about to get right back into it, and I don't want this to be like some crazy long video. Uh, Mainly, I needed to make sure I had like some type of, I put up a notepad and just wrote down, okay, this is what we were gonna, blah, blah, blah. Lightning strike that shit. So, yeah. I'm trying to get better. But it makes me feel so good. I guess just wanted to mention that. That's the main thing. Like, tenfold, it gives me back that feeling of like, I helped somebody at least with this going out there. Or, like, you felt validated in what you went through because people were like, you didn't deserve to feel this. Yeah, like, this is what this whole video is about, for being made. Anyway, yeah. I guess is what, talk about that age of Aquarius. I'm just being a nerd at this point. I've felt more comfortable in terms of, like just being shameless about it, because that was one thing I've really struggled with, is that, so anyway. Pretty much, at some point when I had, and this is for those that are like probably new watching this anyway, I had already, yeah, sorry. I know, I'll go off about, yeah. I had already basically made it very apparent that I was owed money from working 2 months as minimum wage. The store manager was made aware of this. The district manager, operations manager, I'm pretty sure. That's why I'm trying to not get the titles. Like, I'm not sure, but this is like, I'm pretty sure. Operations / district manager. This dude is like my store manager, the one that promoted me, his boss. So we're gonna go into chain of command into the other videos that I've made. I know I don't want to be like one of those people. It's so funny. But no, thank you so much. Just, anyway, really, you guys, anyway, yeah. It means a lot, but it means a lot for me to, yeah, hear that this has helped somebody. But, like, thank you for the support, too, for those that haven't gone through this. Also, I guess that's what I was trying to mention, not forget. Thanks for that, too. I appreciate that. This is just a kind of, anyway, you get the gist of it. But, the petition stuff, that's just to put that out there. Not really just to, like, we're reigniting something, but, like, we're trying to have that conversation just still open, so it's not so much as we're feeling, like, repressed about it, is how I'm trying to word this. So anyway, yeah, like, I had already made it aware to basically everybody, to the point where that I was not given the person because I was like, man, this person doesn't want to help me, which is fine. I know they don't give a shit, which usually, anyway, it kind of goes to speak for itself, because, yeah, people in positions of power, kind of, nowadays, we're in that turf. But anyway, not to just get carried off, I know, it just, like, it means a lot to just, you guys are cool with this, but, like, literally, this vape, I had to get a new one. I was so mad. I know, like, I was so mad. I've had that one for, like, quite some time. Anyway, yeah, super random. But, I was like, oh shit, I forgot. I'm not trying to be all fancy and stuff. I'm showing off shit. To the point where literally that, it started to feel like a work environment was created because of something that I had essentially done, that is a process that has absolutely nothing, like, it's, a lot of people can already relate to this, so that's where I'm starting to just try to get better at that, and now we're just pretty much getting caught up to the meat and potatoes of all of it. But literally, I was yelled at over the phone by this dude after the regional manager, but, like, I had asked for the payroll guy's phone number from the guy that's below him that I got yelled at. Anyway, I'm not trying to just, yeah. Literally, the answer I got was like, hey, retroactive pay, blah, blah, blah. Uh, I think it was like, I'll get in touch with him or something. And then it was like, let me get in touch with him because you're clearly like, that's fine. You're not giving a shit about it or you're busy. That's not anything you're supposed to really. Kind of, it's your job, but like at the same time, yeah, clearly you don't care about it because you've got like people that like to, like that dude mentioned in the comment, kind of just work on the clock and not have to do shit, which is fine. But like some people, yeah, like don't get pissed if like yeah. So there you go. It's like it's just being given vague answers, and then that's where I was like, is there anybody else that I can speak to where it's like you're on the customer service and you're feeling like a Karen straight up, like is there a manager I can talk to that's not you, because I know it's fine, I don't, the fact that like people, this dude was not even just this dude, but like the guy that yelled at me. I'm not trying to get heated and talk about this. It's not the topic of this whole video, but that dude's tone, I will never, like, to the bones, I felt it, of how he yelled over the phone. I can only imagine that poor dude's wife, not even just to start being, like, shady or something like that, literally, though, like, for those, yeah, anyway. That's the one time it's like I've ever have any regret in life. It's like that's solid proof of what I would ever have from just like, okay, hey, like can I it was like probably being annoying as shit, but like the more you let it go on, the more it's just not going to either be fixed or like yeah, so on and so forth. But other than that, so literally just making sure we don't leave out any details. But literally, it created something in the work environment where I was like looked at as like somebody that was just there to start shit, which whatever, we're not getting into this. I'm trying to get better at. So where we left off at, like literally, the point where I had essentially tried to talk to, because we had two store managers. That's where I'm like, I don't understand why, but at the time it probably was relevant because of what I started. They were like, oh shit, I don't know, could be wrong, but either way. We had two store managers. The one that basically, and this is like totally like completely different topic, but this is where it would fall, I guess, under the category of it being hostile and stuff like that, because this is a manager, and just to go into further depth about this manager, and I'm just further gonna refer to him as the person that likes to be called dad. Manager that just, like, not even, like, likes, I guess, I don't want to say it like that, asks for you to call him dad. Like, I've been asked, and I remember I even fell into that shit, and that's about to be talked about, so yeah, it's wild, bro. Certain stores and Papa John's, I'm sure, anyway, like, so, this is just something that needs to be at least discussed, this one right here. Because at some point, this dude, I guess he let it be led on of, like, he likes to be a father figure and things like that. For some reason, zodiac signs were brought into conversation. Not sure why, but either way, he was mentioning, like, he's a Cancer and he just likes, and anyway, if anybody's into that, you kind of get the gist of that, whatever. Like, that's even relevant, not even disrespectful or anything like that. So The work relationship that this was starting to be built upon was like he's presenting himself to me as a father figure almost more than he is like a boss, because it's like the general conversation back and forth. I was going about it like I'm just here to work and just go home. Like I'm sure any other person would. I don't know. Anyway, I could be wrong because at this point there was multiple, even a grown woman calling him dad. It was weird. Um, and this was the same woman that I had mentioned in one video where like this girl, this dude's little sister, like had a seizure. She happened to kind of actually, thankfully and fortunately, be there presently, physically when this happened and know what to do. She had like fireman training experience. But anyway, she, I guess, fell into this dude's. Anyway, I don't know. I wouldn't say it like he had some hypnosis or something, but yeah, like he came off as across like super just humble and like lived miserly or something, which super relatable. Like who cares? Whoever lives modest. That's I don't judge. So anyway, still not really going into for me personally. I'm like I'm not gonna call you dad. But at this point, I was starting to notice that other people were calling him dad. That at this time, at my age, I'm like about to hit mid-20s, but I'm like early, like 23, 24 ish, something like that. 22, 23, 24 in that time frame. And anyway, it didn't bother me for some reason. Anyway, we're not gonna bring like personal stuff into this because it's like for me, yeah, childhood. I have a relationship with my father, but like he wasn't really taught how to be affectionate, so that's still like a thing that we're working on. Love my dad. Never had any qualms in terms of just like hey, I wish you weren't so mean to my mom or something. They never were married, so that's it basically. I know I don't have to go into that type of detail, but I guess I need to for this context. And this dude is my boss that promoted me to assistant general manager, but also didn't really make sure that I was getting paid correctly because he's really adamant about presenting himself as a quote unquote dad. Like he really, let's say, I don't say want, but like sort of like, I don't know. He wanted you to call him dad. There was like, that's where I was like, okay, I think he figured out me just being like, I was interested. I'm not trying to get lost in that tangent. It's like psychology or things like that. I don't know. Probably just one of the interests. I'm like, that piqued that curiosity, or probably he just. Anyway, some people know how to like kind of be a predator in terms of like that type of conversation and lead things into what I'm about to tell you. But also, it's not to just keep villainizing this dude because I also really tried to give this dude a benefit of a doubt for probably longer than I should have throughout this, but here we go. So like yeah, my curiosity got the best of me because I'm just like I can't remember, it was like me probably just asking. I'm about to move forward after this because this is I'd rather talk about this later, but as you can tell, but literally he it was like why do you like to be called dad or something like that, because there was always that was like something like everybody was thinking. Like I can't remember if like my mom mentioned that or somebody, but like somebody had, because Papa John's is like a anyway the store's kind of open, and the way it's like laid out, it's like you can hear pretty much just about everything if you either want to, like you're doing that, or people are loud enough, which either way, usually both of those cases. But somebody had mentioned like, why does he? And then I guess I said what everybody in the room was thinking. I don't know. I said something like that, and he goes something. He just literally had to make it, and this is why like I'm having trouble just explaining this for the past fucking like 30 minutes. This dude was literally just letting it be known that he is sterile, But besides that, right, like the little emoji and the, like, that shit cracks me up, but that's, anyway, um, following that conversation that day, I don't think I even, like, said anything. I was just like, I'm sorry, I guess, or, yeah, like, just to give some type of, like, sympathy or something, but the empathy was just felt, like, way too, I don't want to say cult-like, but some people probably can relate. That's why I'm just, anyway, yeah, only reason why we're going into this much detail, but now, 30 minutes into this, like, literally had spoken to the other store manager that is, female, and, I don't know, I guess we'll just refer to her as, like, the female store manager, but anyway, this is in the last video, anyway, it doesn't matter, just going back into it, but just, I had talked to her the next day. She was scheduled to work, and, like, I was in such shock, I didn't know what to fucking do. Like, you would usually text these, like, you would think to text people, like, or text these people, text the manager as soon as something like that happens or something, but, like, yeah, anyway. Or even call the cops, like, that's, yeah, I know, I'm not trying to make that this, like, the topic or the moral of it, but, she brings me into the cooler, where it's basically like the walk-in cooler, where, like, all the things that are refrigerated that's in there, and you're separated by, like several inch thick type, still walled shit. Nobody can hear you if you want to go in there and just, start cussing at the world, whatever. You do your thing, I'm not judging. But literally, I always thought that was, at first, she was like, come on, let's go in here and talk about it. It was her first response. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why can't we just talk about this? And I understand, like, female to female or woman to woman or something, but, like, anyway, what makes that any different from other people, yeah, being able to hear that? Which is kind of fucked up. So, if she sees this, hi, I hope you're doing good. Anyway, the fact that happened, but it went into just essentially her talking about how she was raped at a certain age, and she would speak to the dude store manager, the only two store managers, and the dude that likes to be called dad. Anyway, yeah, dude that likes to be called dad. Dissociation much, but, like, yeah. She would speak with him privately, quote unquote, like, she would speak with him privately the next day or something, like, as soon as she sees him, Which at that moment, too, I was like, whew. I'm trying to say, because I get just to, like, sit there. You gotta, not you, but, like, for me, I'm like, you gotta just be like, holy shit. Like, I sat there and was like, I don't feel right with that type of, just not, like, response, that type of, like, I'll go speak to him about it. Why can't we just have something like, hey, you want to file out, like, this piece of paper that says this happened, like, it's a police report, and then just go from there? None of that. Didn't have that. And just to reiterate, though, that's why this video is being made, but for those that don't get offered that type, that's some shady shit. That's somebody that is basically, like, anyway, trying to hide the truth. I've got to get a desk clamp, and holy shit, yeah, I'm really just using the art of balancing this. It came with, like, the arm thing or whatever, but anyway, it's, like, able to kind of, yeah, there we go, like, the edge of the corner of the desk, and it's like, it's just like, anyway, literally, this is what we're getting into now, because the next thing, yeah, I clocked into work the next day, like, it was just any other day, for those that have already gone through it, like at this point, you know, you've already made some waves, started to create a ripple effect in terms of like, whatever that means. Literally, people would refer to you as like if even you don't talk to them at work too. Like, anyway, that's pretty much it. So, uh, yeah, I remember just being told like I don't like to have fun or something. Anyway, like okay, but I can make you laugh somehow. I don't care. It's just whatever. That shit at the time, you know, whatever. Didn't really have many as friends, I guess, that were supportive of this because they were supportive of it, but like at the same time, it's like don't get me pulled into this or something because I had people that were there that I won't say like witnesses, but like could testify, could at least say on record that yeah, this dude was like asking me to call him dad and shit, and like just no reason for it for the most part either, besides the fact that hey, if you've ever felt like you've come from a broken home and you want to feel like you have a father, just call me dad. So this was about 2017, 2018, like I don't know. I guess during those times, still, it's easy for it to like. You would never expect it to be you, like that type of shit. But other than that, I clocked into work the next day. This is where it's literally just beginning to get so unsettling. This has to be another separate video, and here we are about an hour into it already. So just clocking into work the next day, and the lady store manager, I think this was the next day, I'm not trying to get emotional over this, but 2 days later, so it's like an off day, you know, but it's like dreading the whole time, so like the whole entire time, you know, you're off and you're supposed to be kind of enjoying. It's hard to. I mean, it's easy to say that, but it's hard to. It's because you're like, oh shit, I gotta, you know, be, yeah. Anyway, mentally prepared to get ready for some shit, because lady store manager, I remember this is where I'm visually, like when I close my eyes, I'm like visually, excuse me, I know my acid reflux is really bad, but probably just sipping that drink too, but literally, she pulls me aside after I had just clocked in. She intentionally like walks up to the front. So at this point, I'm already understanding. After she goes, "Hey, can you talk? You want to come to the back?" What did she say? Come to the back, dude that likes to be called dad, and I. So both of us two store managers, and that was it. That was it. I was confronted with as soon as I walked in to clock in for work. Need to have a talk with you. And the vibe from the get-go, it's like physically, okay, it wasn't just straight into it, okay? I'm like, blip, 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 like it takes a few seconds for that to clock in and register. It's like the POS systems there are like Windows 98 just about, not like shitting on it, but it's that type of like time duration in terms of, hey, you need to come back here and talk to us in a very serious, apprehensive type, or no, you know what I mean, type of tone. I guess apprehensive maybe, because they started to notice I was getting not smarter, but becoming more aware of this shit. So yeah, like I could feel the tension and the nervousness, and that's where I was like falling into my own, I don't want to say victim side, but like, why the fuck is this happening to me? But like, you know, nobody likes to go through this shit. Nobody likes to go through anything fucking stressful. But also, like, these are grown ass adults. One of them that could literally be old enough to be like a parent. The other one, not really so much, but still though, like, has a child. Like, has birthed a child. So anyway, like, I'm just a random 20-year-old. Like, what threat do I... Anyway, I don't know. But, sorry. For those that are probably annoyed by this, I don't blame you. I'm sorry. I know. I'm trying to get better at that. So, doing this has really helped. So, so much. So, the time duration of clocking in to this girl just coming up to my side, and I'm like taller than her, but anyway, I just see like in my periphery, and then hear her like, "Hey, we need to come talk," and I'm like, "Oh dear God," like you're getting called to the office. Let's pretty much like that, and it's like, oh God, all right, turn around, start walking to the back, getting ready to face and deal with whatever the fuck is about to happen, and she initiated the conversation. Um, she's like, she just initiates it, but like, I wrote it like this because it was like she just kind of like motions, like, okay, like, have a go at it, or something. Like, it was like a fucking, like, I know I'm a gamer, anyway, sorry, but it was like a fucking, uh, that arena shit where you can just hop in and just everybody, like, you just fight fucking free for all. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was very unsettling. Let's just say that. That was the very first feeling I felt overall. So, while she spectates, she kind of just looked at him, looked at me, and was like, alright, like, you guys talk it out or something. That's basically what she was gesturing in hindsight as I'm describing this. Because dude goes and he's like, he proceeds to say, but anyway, I'm just trying to reword it so it's not boring, but no, for the most part, I will sound so redundantly like depressed about this. So anyway, that was, and now looking back at this, it's like, I'm so glad that I wrote this down. And I don't know, I'm going off on a side tangent, but I was like, in the midst of trying to get all this stuff cleaned up and shit, but I'm going to put this somewhere because I know that what all that shit happened, and what I would like to mention is like a little like, not like having the last laugh or anything, but what's gonna tie all this shit in together once I'm eventually hopefully done with this very soon. I'm really trying. So literally, yeah. Um, I'm so glad that I started documenting this because I can't remember now, to the best of my ability, of how the conversations went and like occurred, how they literally like happened, how what was said, only things that was like, we have selective memory and plus memory, like this psychology tangent rant, but like anyways, memory's sort of already obstructed after so much time has passed and yada yada things like that. But that was always one thing I was like, that's crazy, crazy fact. But after just saying that, dude was like, why did you tell dude that likes to be called dad was like, why did you, like, was the first thing that he said, why did you tell chick store manager, why did you speak to her about a SA claim? Sorry, this is just like, and then I was like basically responding saying, I spoke to the store lady manager about this on this day, like just to give him a time frame, because I'm that honest to literally everybody, but also whatever. Anyway, and I told her about the related incidents, how it's happened multiple times, until the point where I started to like kind of like realize like, okay, I think this is fucking intentional. I never ever fucking kind of thought like, this is where I feel so like embarrassed. I don't really care, but like, I guess growing up as that chick that didn't receive a lot of I don't want to say daddy issues, didn't receive a lot of affection from, patriarch side and all that. I was kind of like chasing after dudes, so that kind of stuff didn't really occur to me in terms of like, when a dude hugs you from behind and it's like, hand placement's a little bit what the fuck right now. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get across or convey. So literally my friend's like, you want to chill real quick? I'm like, anyway, have a support system. I know this is not trying to go over the place, but so thankful that I can at least now sit down and talk about this, take my time with it, because, yeah, feeling rushed, this is kind of part of it. But also, like, grieving at the same time, not trying to get far and far into the subject, but grieving since my stepfather had passed, and we'll go into detail, I guess, about that at some point. It doesn't really bother me, but I had always had, ever since that had happened, occurred, I had always had, like, this really, and I'm sure other people can relate probably, uh, feeling like you gotta be rushed. Like, as soon as you wake up, you're like, oh god, and, like, that's me. Like, you feel like you're late for work every day, every time you wake up, even if it's like a nap or something. Anyway, that started to get to the point where it was so bad for me. Started to affect, like, not wanting to eat, but, you know, like, I was surviving off of a banana. Shit was so bananas. I was literally just drinking so much water, though, because I remember learning about that, but hearing just sip water, carry on. I'm like, yeah, that's about it. But definitely eating throughout that, just it wasn't to the point where even my family was like, "What the fuck, bro? Like, never seen you get this type of way, literally." So I've never really actually like, you know, I was saying like the straw kind of broke the camel's back at that point, because in the previous video, how I described it, basically though, it's basically like those drink coolers that open with the door, and some people kind of have like their own way of going about like having that door propped open. So some people, like working at a store that has this type, it doesn't have to be Papa John's, but some people grab a chair or something just to hold the door open, because it's like just like a regular, like just a door. I don't know, just describe it. It's Monday, but literally. And I just held it open, like, because I would be so in and out, and I'd just be like, whatever. Like, less work to just go and grab a chair. I'll just hold it open with my hip, and yada yada. I felt like, this is like just a metaphor, metaphorically speaking, like, just, I want to say exaggerating, but like, when somebody taps your shoulder, and you're like, what the fuck? I felt literally like my ass get touched as I was like, yeah. And then that's when the dude, the store manager that likes to be called Dad, anyway, it's all tying in, but like, I feel like I'm talking shit about this guy, and I'm not trying to. I'm just recounting all the events based off of literal fucking fact and truth. And the whole time I'm just, I guess, like, I'm gonna say gaslit, because gaslit always fucking, like, fucks me. It trips me up, because I'm like, gaslit. That means you gotta go get gas. It's just literally. But no, I was like gaslit so fucking much from this. As this is happening, I'm still trying to fucking explain this little paragraph, but this little interaction between both store managers, and I had already spoken to her about that happening when I could have either called the cops, is what was told to me. That needs to kind of really just be communicated more, I guess, through, doesn't matter what age you are, if you are a female under 18, even if you are over 18, like, that's sexual assault, like, straight up, like, even in the smallest bit. Like, it wasn't even just him, it was another dude too, but that's obviously, you know, statute of limitations. I think that was something that also I wanted to mention throughout all this whole ass video thing. Where I'm at, and like, when New York lifted that, I was like, man, I probably did mention it, but still, like, that, it's like a dog just seeing like the biggest, fattest steak, and you're like, man, it's not like I want to just go and rekindle this shit, but anyway, that sounded horrible, I know, but literally, it's a good thing to see all this stuff that's happening right now come to light, and it's helping me, but also helping me to hopefully help other people voice out what they need to speak up about or what needs to be spoken up about. And that doesn't have anything to do with your integrity, your character. You're not. That's about where it's literally just where I stand with that. And I'll die on that hill. Trying to just let that be known. Like, you don't have to let somebody leverage. Anyway, yeah, I'm going into it, but yeah. Something you can just walk away from so easily. But, yeah, I don't know. You probably see all the, like, my cat got my hand. Anyway, this is where it started to get, like, at this point, I'm talking to dude, like, yeah, I talked to girl store manager on this day because literally this happened, and I'm pretty sure it's also happened multiple times. This is, like, kind of like everything coming to light, and I'm starting to realize this shit for myself, and then they're starting to realize, like, anyway. Dude, this is where I'm not, like, saying, like, eye contact is something I'm, like, strictly, like, this is adamant, or this is, pertinent to the situation or anything. That was, like, how his body language was as he responded once I said that, was, like, he kind of broke his eye contact away, as I remember visually him, like, walking away, and he's, like, starting to raise his voice in kind of, like, disbelief as I'm reading this, and the next thing he says is, how did I do that? And I'm not saying, like, in that type of, how did I do that? And the next thing he said, because he's kind of walking around, like, pacing, like, what the fuck? And that's where I was sitting there confused as shit as a female. Like, I feel bad for speaking up. So next thing was literally like, why did you never say anything? He said. And then the third thing, I had to write this one down, but, like, I remember, like, this was written down, like, right after it happened for the sake of being able to recall, anyway, me going in psychology, but literally, oh god, this is trigger warning, but literally he goes, I treat you like a daughter. So anyway, yeah, we'll leave that to those that want to interpret that. I definitely will be happy to discuss that with you in the comments. Because talking about this shit is disgusting. Especially the fact that I was interrogated, which is fine. I don't mind being questioned. And this whole thing was just turned around to focus on the fact that I'm just trying to, like, money grab, which is totally fine. Like, I understand that perspective from the outside, but that's totally not the case. But I'm being interrogated just literally by hours. Just not even, like, the length of time, but how they would conduct an interview, probably to make someone confess to something that they didn't do. And so many people that, are just not, yeah. Anyway. The last thing, and this is where I started to really gain more courage in terms of just in general. I think this either just came to mind because literally that was like, it just felt appropriate to say for the situation. It calls for it, and for some, it was the first thing that came to mind. And I was like, I just couldn't remain silent about this anymore. Like, so this is all just, yeah, sorry, I know I'm very animated, but anyway, very, very just shocking to, I don't know, to me at the time, especially, because, yeah, it's pretty wild. But do with that information with what you will. This is just to really bring the purpose of this is to bring awareness to those types of, I want to say, illegal activities, because yes, that is essentially what happened. And I'm not even done with this yet, because literally I started off with this saying that I was clocking in to work, and it's like my shift was at 4:30 that day. We're just, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Just for the record, Your Honor, it was 4:30 that day, but literally, after I said I couldn't really stay silent about this any longer, dude shook his head. That likes to be called store manager, Dad. He just shook his head while he, like, after he kind of, like, sat back down to, I guess, listen to me, and, body language was just like, yeah, bye. Like, yeah. He stood up and he just walked away. Uh, he just shook his head like that's some bullshit or something like that is what that whole gesture felt like. And kind of, anyway, I'm not trying to villainize dude, but it's how it happened. And he was just bye. Like, we went AWOL. Like, that conversation never was followed up with him being like, alright, let me sign this saying, like, I acknowledge none of that. None of that. Just for those, you know, that probably need to hear that, but literally, the lady store manager goes, it's probably best that you go home for the day. That's where, like, a lot of this shit started to just, like, become apparent to me, and I'm starting to really be getting into, like, conspiracy stuff just in the free time. Like, I'd get home and just watch YouTube videos about, like, that was about as much, anyway, when this shit started happening, and not start getting into a tangent, yeah, like, I'm just like, oh, shit, okay. If you're like, oh god, like, I was watching a video on that, but no, this is where I was like, okay, so why are you guys acting so secretive, but at the same time, I'm being sent home for a shift that I was scheduled for after having a conversation with both of my store managers, including the one that promoted me, as I'm still promoted, by the way. I'm still working as an assistant general manager as this is happening. And I'm being sent home after I basically said I could not remain silent about this any longer. This is why I'm trying not to get emotional and just cry, because this is, I really want to just fucking cry. And this is the purpose, is just to help those that feel like the same way, dude. Do not feel alone. You're not alone. She literally sends me home, but just, like, I'm not getting, it's probably best that you go home for the day. I remember writing that down. Always remember writing it down, but just remembering that, I guess, just, anyway, bad with words, always, in general. I guess as an empath, whatever. The tone and the context of that response is probably better. I wasn't there. I don't know. You can say, I guess I consider myself a quiet person, but, yeah, it's probably best that you go home for the day. I'm not trying to get stuck on that right now. But that's what was said. After I said, I cannot remain silent any longer about this. I was literally trying to be like, did I say, like, I'm sorry, I just can't, like, I'm pretty sure I said that, like, just paraphrasing, but, like, in the moment, I'm like, I'm sorry, like, dude that likes to be called dad, I can't stay silent about this. It's not okay. How fucked up is that? Anyway, as I was walking to go clock out, because that's how over it I was like, whatever. I know that I was totally taking, like, you know, no was an not want to say that. That sounded so caring. You know what I mean? Totally just, like, being swept under the rug. I was, like, at this time, my friend's mom had already, like, moved across the country, so, like, I couldn't really even, like, physically talk to anybody about this besides my mom, my biological mother. She was already getting to the point of, like, I'm sick of fucking hearing about this shit. Can you talk about something else? Like, she would talk about lighter topic subjects, positive things, and I would just be so fucking depressed. Like, I just didn't feel heard about it, I guess. So that's why, anyway, this whole thing, reiterating, being made. As I was walking out, though, the girl store manager calls the district store, the operations manager guy, to just basically let him know properly that I was being sent home that day, because I didn't really hear what she said, but I heard her, like, overheard as I'm walking, and it's starting to be separated by a wall since the kitchen area, and then you got the sink area. She started to go towards where there is kind of like a hallway, and I'm already walking where it's being separated by a hall. So I can kind of still hear what she's saying, but not quite. And it's starting to become more and more garbled as I walk away to go clock out. But I just started to be like, oh shit, she's calling that dude. So, interesting. I don't know why he has to know, but okay. So, that same day, I'm pretty sure this was like, I wrote down the time. This is why I wrote down the time, because this wasn't like 10, 15 minutes after this happened. So I'm assuming since that dude that likes to be called Dad, store manager, had walked out and like just went on a like smoke break, I was already sitting in my car at that point, and this wasn't even 15 minutes after that confrontation had happened. And I guess, like, I don't want to say, it's like, anyway, you feel someone, like, staring at you and shit. I was, like, totally feeling that, I guess. But anyway, I just glanced up, and I saw him out there just smoking, but he was just staring at me. And I put, like, staring threateningly. But I remember just that, like, how could you do this to me? How could you betray me? Or something like that. Oh my god, dude. Like, that type of look was, like, just sent at me. It was searing. Like, just searing fucking hatred. I could fucking, like, as an empath, anyway, you can probably almost see in your head, anyway. I was just not even scared. I'm just sitting there, like, at that moment, I remember just feeling like, why are you fucking staring at me that way? All I did, was just my whatever. So anyway, I'm understanding how the fuck things work at this point. Excuse my French. I know. But anyway, for those that are new, I guess. But this is just, anyway. So, this was a few days later. I'm clocking into work. So, like, we're just progressing on now. Fast forward a little bit since this has happened. And the girl that likes to call this store manager dude Dad, that, like, she frequently, like, hey Dad, like, she'll just scream Dad. I don't want to do that, but anyway, she'll just scream that shit if she, like, needs help with something, because she was a little bit, like, on the shorter side, but, like, if she had to have help to reach for something, like, she'd call for him. So anyway, I was working with her. This is probably, like, just another day at work or whatever, but I just wrote this down because I asked her, like, how many deliveries we had or something, just part of the job, mundane, literal shit, minute details, and then I just put, like, she ignored me, which is fine, because that same day, but anyway, I don't know, I'm always sounding like fucking Karen as hell. I wrote down this time because it was like 6:45, 6:46 p.m. I don't know why, but either way, as best as I could to the dot. If I couldn't get it on the dot, then it was like approximately, 6:45-ish. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, that's just me being me. I'm just transparent as fuck. 7:20-ish p.m., but like still about like 7 in the evening. That's when like dinner rush, for anybody that works in a restaurant would know, that's when shit gets kind of real. All hands on deck type vibe, but it's starting to get just a little bit more busy, and it's to the point where I'm like, hey, can you please hold, like, I gotta, like, as soon as someone calls, that type of busy. And that girl that calls him Dad, that's also an assistant general manager, same position as me, she just goes, is there any reason why that I should know why this line is on hold? So anyway, yeah, that's kind of the gist of this whole hostile work environment thing, for those I'm sure that understand that. It's like you're intentionally ignored, and then like once, you gotta get off your ass, do your job, get off your phone. Something's gotta be screamed at somebody just for the record, and it's like, nah, dude, nah. like, at that time, I remember just thinking, like, this girl, I had never had any problems with her. I really never had any problems with her. Never, still do. And I remember just thinking at that time, like, I really hope you realize this for what it is someday. I really do. And I happened to just not go into any further, but just thought it was really crazy, odd, random, but also just for the probability of chance. But running into her at the same it's inside of a Walmart, but anyway, grocery store, but most southern shit ever. Anyway, I saw her. This was like, uh, within the past, like within this within the last year, I've seen her recently, and it was just another day for me. I went to go get something. I just wanted to get to snack, like, a bag of chips or something. I just went to go get something to snack on. Walk out, I see her coming in. I mentioned this in another video, but anyway, yeah. I just kind of had this interaction where, like, I never had anything to not forgive her for, if that makes sense. Like, if somebody doesn't know your situation, just treats you like shit, type that vibe, And, I remember she was with her mom, too, but I, like, held the door open for them just because I remember just thinking in that moment, I was like, that was it. I'm just over it. Bye. And probably just smiled, nodded or something. That's just my nature of, like, I acknowledge you as a person. It's fine if you don't have to acknowledge me. I don't know. I'm not to gain sympathy from this shit either. I just have no problem being my own sense of self or something like that. So that's where I'm just like, whatever. Hi. Probably just from being so traumatized as growing up from, like, modeling and shit. People would be like, why haven't, like, did you forget about me? And I'm like, dude, like, no. Anyway, probably just sort of rare few people, but, like, anyway, the next thing that happened was, like, I slept in for my shift, and I put, like, shit starts just go more downhill because I was exhausted at that point from being so vigilant, and you see how, like, fidgety I'm getting. But no, in terms of being so vigilant, my nerves are fucking shot because this girl's screaming, like, and the way this girl, like, nothing bad. It's just like how she would express herself. It was just very much like something I'm trying to get better at being comfortable with, and that's what I looked up to her and tried to, like, be free, like, connect with her with over that. And it just, she kept thinking of me as somebody that was just wanting to get this dude fired or some shit. Anyway, she didn't really know the whole fucking, yeah, so, like, it sucks. Like, as females to other females, this fucking happens a lot. But anyway, she's fucking screaming, like, is there any reason why that I should know why this line is on hold? Like, just, anyway, I respect it, but I was just like, girl, I was talking to you earlier. I just stopped to speak to her, English language. It's about 5 in the afternoon now, so anyway, I was scheduled to work at 4, notified the lady store manager that I overslept from a nap. It's 8:15. I think I was scheduled to work at, like, they started scheduling me, like, I think really weird hours. I even have that somewhere, but anyway, it was like just telling her that I overslept from a nap, and then she just says okay. Like, she answered the phone, I remember that, and it was just like, okay. And that was it. Oh shit, yeah, here we go. 4. So that's when I was literally scheduled, like, 20 hours, just to side reference, 16 hours, 15 hours, and then it went down to 3 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours. So I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't care about going. There's another Papa John. This is where it's starting to go into another trilogy of Lord of the Rings Papa John's, what I went through. I was like, I don't care if I have to work at another store, because there is also another store within vicinity, mile range and I could totally work there, and I just worked at that other store because it's smaller and stuff. Like, just basically I'm taking the, not like the easy, lazy way out, but this was like smaller. You're still busy as fuck, but like you're not really on this type of like because you got those like two stores that are like in a city, like the separate stores like in the main metro area. That's where this is where it's about to go into. And I was like, I don't mind working there at all, but to the point that like that smaller scale store, it just wasn't as stressful, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, if you could kind of get to that, if you could get your foot in that door, then go for it. But anyway, I was scheduled to work, I think I put like 16 o'clock, so yeah, it was like 4. So I must have, I don't know if I was scheduled what time that day, honestly. 4:30 or something like that. So it's like 8. Yeah, I was scheduled to work at 4. Yeah, that's what I put down. So yeah. Anyway, I have to keep myself in check, and I was just like wow, because girl didn't say anything about me. She didn't. She's like okay, just she didn't even say anything to like okay, don't show up or okay, see you at work or she's just like okay. Once I called to just let it know, I was like, oh shit, I woke up and I'm late for work. And I'm just depressed at this point because that's where I started to work. I was just having my hours drained. Like, they retaliation can happen in many forms, but this sort of retaliation was so petty. That's why, like, I hope this girl that I'm talking about is still listening to this shit because I'm pretty sure she was making the schedule as this was going on. And my hours were never ever fucking like just to the point where literally I had 3 fucking hours for a whole week. Even if it was whoever, anyway, like she had this super petty like you forgot to do this and da 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 da, and we'll get to that later. I think either way though, it's like not even to cut corners on being food safety or things like that either. So that's either way. I'm sure that'll be on my conscience, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna bring that up in another video. But anyway, uh, I showed up to the store to just clock in, and I remember just visually, like, he's the dude that likes to be called Dad, store manager. He's the only one that's there present, just working, and there wasn't, from my ability to recall. Anyway, didn't look or seem that busy, and he was just kind of like pacing around. He calls me aside and kind of like he like says my name. He's like, Jake. So I was like, I'm not trying to run anywhere. Like, what? So it's just already this type of demeanor. I have to take into account for this to let it be known. Like, that shit is not okay. Even if you are like in charge of, even if you are the boss, and I'm like me personally, I'm the subordinate. Like, I'm not speaking to you that way. I'm not saying your name, your government name, and just like, hey, I'm sorry. But anyway, no. He goes, why are you here? And I respond with, I called the store manager girl and told her that I had overslept from being exhausted. And then dude store manager goes, did lady store manager tell you to work today? I answer, no, but I'm here to work the remainder of my scheduled shift. So I was like writing down, taking pictures of my schedule basically so I could like have that also. Yeah, like this shit goes so full scale, grand full scale. You got to really be to the point of just writing down if somebody farts. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but just to the point of coping. Yeah, like me coping watching stupid YouTube conspiracy videos about like Illuminati or whatever. Just the most random shit ever. And I slept in from taking a nap and shit. Um, Having the shittiest fucking diet, so my body is just fucking spent. Um, and then also just trying to enjoy life on the fucking, just on top of all that, like on when you have an off day and then like the next day you work, but you just work, so you got one off day in between like consecutive almost work days. It doesn't fucking feel like an off day, but anyway, sorry, I don't know. Anyway, the store manager dude responds, there's nothing else to do, and I am sending everyone home. And I remember before just that being said, I already kind of noticed from people walking around that there was other people present. So I had wrote down like there was already two people working. I think it was two. I can't remember exactly, but there was already several people working there. So I was like, "You're already sending people home, okay?" Just to write that down, notate. And he just mumbled something. I don't really even still thinking, not trying to that hard back. Couldn't really decipher. It was just like go home. So that was it that next day, or that was it for that whole day. Yeah, like it was just that. So, um, it gets to the point where like those little instances, I don't say it's little, but like those interactions were just it seems extremely small, but like in the full scheme of how this all plays out, it definitely, I'm sure, makes sense. I'm sure, anyway, those that can relate to it. um I texted this is just, we're going now, we're just going forward, and I text the store manager girl. I'm just keeping communication with her because obviously, like, you know, um, that I had a doctor's appointment, and this day that I had wrote down that I was contacting her, my doctor's appointment was 2 days away from this. So it was like, hey, like I'm not trying to like be, you know, just assume shit. Just I'm trying to be adamant about letting people know shit, and they still don't really care. But this is why I'm just mentioning this because she didn't answer, but I put like I have a doctor's appointment that I requested off for. So like how we requested off for work, we just wrote off on a certain day on a calendar. There was no like fucking computer shit. I remember working a retail job anyway. That was a thing, which is cool, but yeah. All of that was communicated face to face at this store. But let's see. This is the same day, and I had called her about 8 in the morning, and then this is about 11 in the morning. And I couldn't remember if this was probably like a day that I was off or anyway, doesn't matter. But I called her again to just let her know. Called her like a few hours later because I was like, you know, this was like, just to also note, like, retaliation can also happen from not just also the same sex, but also, like, somebody that's the same sex as you, that is above you as a job. But yeah, literally, she didn't answer again. That's why I wrote that down. So, this time I called the dude that is my store manager's boss. So, the district operations manager. Anyway, I called him because this was just something that was just, hey, I have a doctor's appointment. She didn't answer, so like, if I'm being ignored right now, that's totally fine. I'm not taking offense to that. I could really care less. Honestly, it makes it less stressful for me. No, I'm just a goblin, literally. Uh, anyway, we'll get into the fun stuff, hopefully. Anyway. Dude, actually answers, I'm pretty sure, and I was just like, I told him, I'll be happy to come straight to work after my appointment. This is the second time I've had to reschedule this. So I guess that point, yeah, like I was having issues just having to go make a doctor's appointment, and they were doing anything in their power to make it seem like I was not giving a shit about my job. And at that point, here we are from realizing just from being retroactively paid that it wasn't just that, it was working there, not just as a female, but working there and seeing that the more you put up with it as a manager, or even just as a person, yeah, just putting up with it, it's gonna keep happening. So, I wasn't really offended by a store manager girl ignoring me, just trying to get in touch with her, because this was, almost the same hour. So I was like, I was fucking over it. I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, be like, through structural. I was like, okay, I'm just not trying to annoy and, like, communications harassment. Literally, I spoke to him. I got him on the phone, but, like, I'm just having issues with having to go to the doctor. He goes, she's on vacation. So, basically, after all that, I find out she's on vacation, which, whatever. I'm just like, damn, dude. Can you not text this shit? But, I understand. Anyway. He goes, that will be fine, and I will notify the other managers. Like, it was just no biggie, no, just a casual, and I'm sitting here like, bro, I'm fucking in, not just running off of gas, I'm running on overdrive, nerves are shot, and this is probably, for me to say, I'm fortunate to have gone through something like this, because some people have gone through a lot fucking worse than me. But anyway, so, just for that to be, I guess, put into the hostile work environment shit, that same day, I was just like, I guess that's when I started just to be over that fucking bullshit. I started to just really understand that's the vibe of how things are going to be handled, of like, yeah, we'll just deal with it tomorrow or something, when it's something not even just, like, for me, very serious personally, after, like, just trying to file an SA claim, but, like, something in terms of, like, just trying to let you know, hey, if I'm not at the, if you see the store closed as fuck, if I'm not at the store, if you see me and I'm scheduled, that's why, bro. I'm not trying to do that shit. And, yeah, so, I guess I was just so fucking over it. I started to look up where the human resources person's phone number, because pretty sure every store is supposed to have that. That's like a requirement anyway. Just to, and that's like anything. I think it's like goes for payroll, human resources, and then like, hotline shit. I think like for managers or something, but it's supposed to be like a little help desk situation of phone numbers of stuff to either report, get in contact with somebody with, essentially what this whole fucking thing started over. But I just called the human resources lady. This was same fucking day, and this was probably maybe like almost a week after, just about like a week after the whole SA incident had happened. So that's when I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and call and try to fucking, this is like me going off into another separate like side quest of like, hey, I need to just file a claim. And this is starting. So chapter for that. She didn't answer, of course, I understand. But I just wrote this down just for, anyway, the story. Not even, anyway, you know what I mean? For the sake of this consecutive events in order. I left a voicemail stating that I'd like to file a SA, or like, a hostile work environment complaint. That's it. Just left a voicemail just saying I wanted to leave a complaint. I need to file a complaint. Sorry. I know that sounded so Karen. I need to leave a complaint. So, that same day, I think this was the doctor's appointment. No, this is I was going to a chiropractor. I remember this day. Anyway, I've got scoliosis, but literally the lady starts to call me back as I'm hooked up to a TENS unit, and I remember I just like rose up like fucking Frankenstein, and this lady next to me that was a little bit older, she's probably like in like her old, she's almost able to claim senior citizen discount probably, looking like, but I remember her being like, what the fuck, trying to seem like she didn't notice or something, but I was like, oh fuck, I gotta take this call. So I noticed I was getting a call back from the lady from Human. I noticed the phone number was like, yeah, so I was like, oh shit. And that's when I was sitting in my car, and at this point it's like February, so it's just like the vibe is just like really fucking cold, depressing outside anyway. But I'm just feeling hopeless at this point. Having to just go to this extreme, I guess. Anyway, she asked me the questions, I guess, about, not I guess, but she's basically like going through what she has to do for her job. Like, okay, so what happened? Can you describe? Has this, and then blah 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 blah, like as a statement. So, and from what I'm writing down, but also to my recollection from how that phone call went down, it wasn't ever like, I'm going to write every single word that you are going to say down, and this is going to be your official statement. Like, ending the phone call was like, are you comfortable with that? I was just like, I'm just trying to report fucking crazy shit that happened, bro. It's not, anyway, so, yeah, she just, asked me questions about the essay incident and why it's a hostile work environment, which I was happy to answer those questions about, but, you know, it was not treated with any sort, like, of, not even want to say it was respectful, but just, it was not, like, not even the SA part. The hostile work environment part was just like, yeah, that's normal, like, what about it? Like, that happens a lot, and I'm sitting here like, that's, anyway, so, she never offered any, like, as I put, like, never offered any paperwork and stuff like that, but she basically just never was like, can I email you this, or do you want to sign this? Never got that. Like, that's just for the record, if that was to be for helpful advice to somebody else. So, like, I didn't know how this shit was supposed to go down. I'm a fucking 20-something-year-old, like, chasing after fucking, like, dreams and shit, and doing art stuff, whatever. So anyway, I'm kind of like a dreamer, I guess we'll say that. So anyway, excuse me, and that's basically, sorry, for that, that's the end of it. Never heard back from Human Resources. She's like, okay, I'm going to, like, you know, do something about this in terms of, like, official, like, walking away with any type of, like, substance of the conversation. It was like, I'm going to go do so. It was like, okay, I get to wait, I guess, but, like, it's now finally in the upper echelon of somebody that can have the ability to just do something about it, in terms of, like, let's say, do something in terms of sending me paperwork to just sign my name off of, like, yes, this happened, not get somebody fired. So that's where it's starting to really look like that. I understand trying to convey that, and I have to pee really bad, but anyway, anyway, so next chapter for this one is just mainly, I'm running a closing shift, and this is where it's just, like, it's hostile as fuck working there, and I'm just working, doing my fucking job. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, shit. I'm just gluing this story and this microphone. Not really gluing it, but all this is compiled together as best, So it's not like, anyway. Uh, the more I can get done with this shit, it's helping me talk about, the faster we can get to the positive shit. Because, that's the last thing I put for what I was going to talk about bullet point wise of like leaving HR or human resources lady a voicemail. So anyway, I know I'm just speaking really fast too because that's where I'm like trying to get better, just not like So literally, I was running a closing shift and then someone was calling the store asking for the lady store manager, and I put she's currently on vacation before I even said that aloud, I'm sure, but the girl that calls store manager dad, assistant general manager, other girl, is present. If you would like to leave a brief message for girl store manager that's on vacation, if you like. And whoever it was, I think they were wanting to speak to the girl that was present. So I was like, okay, put it on hold. I go and tell her that there's somebody on hold asking for the store manager lady. Girl that calls, anyway, that's present, she goes with like a kind of like, I put responds with a smirk, but she kind of was like kind of snarky response, but it was just like, she's on vacation. Like, I didn't know this, or I wasn't aware of this, and I just put, I'm aware. This is where I'm just so fucking over it, and I just look at her, like, I didn't even fucking flinch. I blinked and was just like, yeah, I know, that's why. And she looked at me, like, I remember her response was like, I don't know, I'm just exaggerating now, but no. I was so fucking over the bullshit of, stop being fucking petty. As a female to another, I'm here, like, I don't like to see other people fucking fail in general. It doesn't matter if I even know you, but anyway, yeah, like, that type of shit, I was already just, as much as I guess as an empath, it sounds like, anyway, I fucking literally just like, yeah, I know. And I told them, whoever's on the phone that's calling to ask for her that's on vacation, that you are here, and when you're available to have a moment to talk with them, that's why they're on hold. And I just kind of like had this like stare of just like, anything else you want to like fucking bring me down? Like, I'm feeling like fucking Cinderella at that point. I don't care. Not trying to, virtue signal or grab sympathy from that. I'm just sitting there like, wow, the fuck? Anyway, I'm not trying to understand or go that deep into it. So, I started to bring my book to work, and this same day, this was one of the twins I had mentioned, but there's this girl that's one of the twins. She usually works at this other store that I mentioned that's in like the more busier area. And sometimes they'll just have her, I don't know why, but anyway. She just happened to be there. This is why she's mentioned. I had my book that I've had since I was 15, and I just, like, had a friend show me this when I was trying to probably just, air out grievance or just vent about familial stuff, and she was like, here, you need to read this book, and it's called, The Lotus Still Blooms. I don't know. But that book, if anybody's ever read it, it's pretty good. But I was 15 when I went and got that, and ever since I had that shit just so close to home in terms of it helping me keep I don't know, just I'm that like little person on the playground for those that are new here. But anyway, I'm like, man, why are you so mean to me? So anyway, just keeping like a thick skin or trying to maintain that. Anyway, that book helped a lot. So I started to bring that with me as this shit was happening more at work. But anyway, it's a Buddhist book, or it's a book about Buddhism, just describing about how what entails. But anyway, girl goes, are you going to become a monk now? Which I'm not taking offense to that, but I was just like, as somebody that's from, like, I don't know, I'm just talking like Charlie, like Morse Critical. If somebody that's from the butthole of the Bible Belt, you're really gonna talk shit about Buddhism, but you're gonna get fucking belligerent pissed when somebody's like, nah, dude, like, that's not how it happened. No, I'm not even trying to start that argument, but it's just funny because these girls were these twins, this twin, but like both of them collectively. It's like one was kind of more of like the rebellious girl, and the other was more of like conservative, more restrained, held back. But they both, it feels like literally you're that babysitter that just shows up after fucking babysitting them, and they're both like, she treated us like shit, and you're like, no, I fucking didn't. So it was just that kind of attitude, and I'm not trying to just go off to that tangent, but I guess, yeah, just imagine you babysitting for like these types of twins that I worked with that were assistant general managers. Like, anyway, one of them is married now, and the last thing that I remember, I like posted a status after I heard about the lawsuit or something. I was fucking like gutted, just like trying to put out a status of like stay strong even though when shit doesn't go your way or something like that. No one will say like that, but you know, even if you're like still trying to speak the truth or something like that. I don't know. She probably caught the reference of somehow. She's very anyway. This is another the same twins, two twins. But this is another girl. Um, One of her name starts with a W, so we'll go with W. That said, I'm gonna become a monk now. Anyway, totally irrelevant, but the other girl starts with another letter. We'll just say L, because now it's gonna be really obvious. But like, the last time L had ever said anything to me after I made that post or status about like, well, it was a real journey, you know, and like a lot of people already started. It's a small town, southerner. You can hear my accent. Anyway, a lot of people already were kind of. It was talked about because at that point I know I'd already spoken to Forbes. Literally, I'm not joking. I'm not even, yeah, like don't toot a horn or something, but like I had spoken to CNN Money. Anyway, I've spoken to like news outlets basically and like reporters that were just this was when like Me Too movement I think was starting to just really like take upheaval in terms of like it just being fucking talked about finally. But you know you're not gonna see that kind of shit on TV. Not to be mean, but it also happens in other ways too. So it could be like a female manager totally being a perv, or yeah, vice versa. But anyway, just to go back to what I was saying, L had responded to me in a private message regarding to me just anyway trying to whatever send my last regard. It wasn't anything like fuck this job or anything. It was just, yeah, like something positive for me to feel better once I look back on that if I was to ever see that again. I know that sounds selfish, but that's just how I function if social media is presented in front of me, and yeah, whatever. She told me basically like fuck you, but like I can't remember what was said, but just like this girl's purported to just be like super Christian, like extremely. Anyway, so this is not the one that starts with L. This is or W. Yeah, I know. I totally gone way over the time limit I was going to try to stick to, but anyway, this is totally necessary. But one of the twins? It's W and L. I don't know why I chose L, but anyway, probably loser, but literally, she just something hateful, and it was like, all right, well, fuck you or whatever, and I tried to be friends with her. So anyway, this is not part of this at all, but I guess it was like her trying to shove that knife in the heart, and I don't know, it just stinks. Like it's not. you just don't do that kind of shit to people. I don't know. But she, like, blocked me so I couldn't respond. And I was just like, okay. You basically tell someone, why would you not expect to not get bitten back after you bite someone first? You know what I mean? Like, I would expect to have total repercussions if I was like, fuck you to some random person, even if it was like, somebody you know. Expect to have that, full circle type vibe. Anyway, that was totally random as hell, and I'm so sorry. But those two girls specifically that are twins that work there, that were, I don't know where they are, assistant general managers, definitely tried to just make me feel inferior, make me feel like fucking nothing. Like, you're gonna become a monk now? Yeah, I fucking might, as quiet as I've fucking been. I'm sorry, that's just my intrusive thoughts, but literally, okay. As you can tell, as much as I have vaped, there's a no vaping sign inside the store one day I came into work, and this was like, this is like the same week. Either way, not much time has passed, literally, but it's just like few days down the road, and there's a sign in the store, just like suddenly, like, Michael Scott's like, oh shit, we're gonna be doing this today. Well, this one said no vaping inside the store, and I was just like, didn't bother me, because vaping, you can just about, kind of, get away with it by, like, anyway, you get the fucking drift, literally. You just walk around a corner, but, I'm gonna be, I guess my integrity, I'm gonna be gracious about it, and, I was like, what's up with this? And, girl that calls store manager dad, she says kind of, like, unsure, but, like, I think, W put it up because of her allergies, because that's how petty, anyway, twins are, but, anyway, yeah, sorry. No fucking twins, please don't come after me. I know, I just sound really fucking mean, but these two twins, maybe, hopefully, it's like, you guys probably understand. I tried so hard to be nice to these girls, and anyway, I know. I need to resolve this, just to say it out loud, because, the one that I refer to as L, and I'm probably just this is it, her and I were, like, friends for a little bit, and, like, personally, like, for me being into modeling and things like that, there was a local modeling, like, a modeling class, totally like John Casablanca's vibe, if you understand that. But anyway, basically, like, we're gonna teach you how to do a runway walk, and we're gonna teach you, like, just basic shit like that. And I'm like, fucking just chilling with her in this little class, and that's it. And we're just kind of like, and I think that's why she kind of, like, took on to me, because she couldn't ever adapt to this kind of, like, behavior, because that's just my natural charm, and I still am coming to the point of accepting that, because that's just who I am. I'm just a goofy goober, and, yeah, I'm glad that I'm no longer friends with her, at least, because that would not be good, but, yeah. I definitely could tell that there was something, like, that was off even at that time, and I was just like, girl, open up a little bit, it's all good. But anyway, the sister, so this is W, it's like, because allergies, and I understand people could be allergic to nicotine or anything like that, so that's fine, I understand, but this is where we are. But, holy shit. Still in the same sentence, the girl that calls store manager dude dad, she's like, then again, I think someone else might have put it up. I'm not sure. So, this is just a note out loud, too, why my nerves are so fucking shot. And the acoustics, let me just stop there and mention that, too. This is how the store is built. If somebody fucking yells, it's like you can, when your, like, ear starts, you get tinnitus and that kind, yeah, it fucking hurts. And this girl did not care. She wanted to make sure that you heard every single fucking word, but not only that, you wanted to be there holding her hand as it's happening. And yeah, like, so I held the door open for her as her and her mom was walking out, and I saw them recently. Anyway, she's just screaming, like, just pissed off, and she's like saying how there's I don't know what the fuck this has to do with it, but it's just her airing out her grievances, basically, and venting in her own way. Which I understand venting in any type of way is healthy if it helps you, but, like, to this regard where it's starting to, like, I don't know, not even really fuck with my nerves, because I'm just disregarding myself at this point, any chance I get, because that's how I felt. And, she's just yelling, and the operation manager dude, that's like the store manager's boss. So that's why I say operations manager. So I'm sure he like is aware of like numbers of like things per hour, and like having so many people at the store while there is so many things per hour. So let's say it's like not that busy, but we have too many people scheduled. I think that's what that was about. So anyway, she's like, he texted me 30 minutes ago to send everyone, no, I'm sorry, to send everyone except closers home at 7. And this was at 7:35 p.m., but like literally just leaving like at 7 o'clock, you know, like shit's getting kind of busy, but like it's only that's about the last rush of the day. As in-depth as we are in this of being restaurant talk, so anyway, that's just what happened. And I asked another day coming into work about the no vape sign. The W girl, anyway, she's another assistant general manager, but she just happened to be. I think I've noticed also, just to point out that they were aware of the store manager guy being adamant about wanting to be called dad. Those two never called him dad. Never heard that out of their mouths, as far as I can tell and remember. So I always thought that was strange, but not strange. But I was just like, okay, maybe they're not as say it like, yeah, this is why I was still like under that mindset. So like that's where I was like, okay, I guess they just want to like work and go home, and I was still, yeah. Anyway, I asked the girl if it was her that was her allergies. I was like, hey, did you put the sign up? And she was like, no, the store manager girl put the sign up. So I was like, okay. If we're going into retaliation mode now and who's doing what, that's just what the fuck was written down, I guess. Oh my gosh. So this is kind of really one of the biggest points of this. There's a girl that's working there. And I remember her specifically because her name was spelt really unique and it's really cool. But also, she's very young and well within high school range. I'm not sure if she was about to turn like 18, but she was like still probably, I think, 16 or something. Well, definitely a minor, but this was, anyway, just working this day. If it's for what it's worth, anyway, the same day I asked, whatever, this definitely not what it's worth, but, this is the same day I'm working. I'd already asked W about the vape sign, but anyway, this is a delivery driver that is married, and this is at the time too. I'm still, anyway, I don't know but he has a child. Can't remember if he has multiple children, but anyway, yeah, that definitely matters. But like, he's talking about, and this is where I was like, I wasn't a part of this conversation, I don't think, at first, and then I just happened to like walk into it physically, and then he's just talking about like a TV show that is very sexually suggestive genre, and it was like, I put that because I remember him saying, he's like, you know, this one show, it's called something, 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 and she had, I'm trying to get better at my southern accent, but she I remember came up to me and was like, did you hear what he was asking me about? And I was like, no. She came up and told me herself. So like, anyway, Uh, he literally, I wrote this down because if this was, yeah, I pulled my phone out and this is, anyway. They have to take their panties off to get into heaven. If somebody probably knows what that is, whatever, but that was communicated from a grown man to a girl that's in high school. They have to take their panties off to get into heaven. And, oh god, trigger warning, but he later adds to the conversation, and I think I wrote this down because I heard this myself, and I was acknowledging to her. I was like, yeah, I heard that. That was fucking weird. And this girl didn't really, I'm not hating on her, but she didn't really I was like, hey dude, did you not notice all this weird shit? I'm just going through this lawsuit. Please just at least, be cool with the fact that if I might need you to go on record to say, yes, I remember. Nope. Anyway. Dude goes, I'm just watching that show because my wife says my sex drive is too high right now. So, here we go. Same dude too. Same day. Still working the same work shift, and this same dude is complaining his back hurts, and I put that I'm the closing manager, so I'm the only person that's in charge to be like, just go the fuck home. You're I can't fire, but yeah, any notoriety. It was okay. It's just personally human to human at that point of dude, shut the fuck up because bro. I don't know. Anyway. He walks away and he's mumbling and he's his complaining about his back hurting, but he's like, yeah, I'm definitely not sleeping with my wife tonight. I wasn't even sure if he was saying this shit on purpose, out fucking loud. I know, either way, I'm not thinking that too deep on it. And I'm just closing this little bullet point shit, 'cause I don't really need that more. But yeah, I thought that was alright. And I never even fucking responded to it, I don't think. If I did, I was just and just went back to what I was doing. But same night too, and this dude, he must have been gotten bored or something. We're closing, so we're just at that hour. It's nothing really to do, and he's on his phone. No, he's using the work computer. So he's using the little computer that we have at work. Excuse me, to as a manager for me to log into and do manager duties. Excuse me, and he's looking up he goes to Google and just types in the lyrics to that G-Eazy song. He's like, if I hit it one time, I'm a piper. And he's like, what does this mean? He's just sitting there and saying this out loud, for everybody to hear. So I'm sure it's on purpose. But anyway, he's just analyzing the lyrics. And he's like, man, I really don't know what pipe means. And this is just still going into the hostile work environment, I guess, stuff. But at that point, I guess might add retaliation in here. So because we got to that point. But anyway, the girl that calls the dude store manager dad, she's scheduled to work 4:30 this one particular day for a closing shift, and she comes in at 4:55. So that's just to give you an idea of how fucking, yeah, this place was. And I was just okay, having a shitty diet, eating just a banana, just about one banana a fucking day, drinking fucking water, and then I'm just ready to go home. I know, that's totally whatever. We're about to get to the territory. It sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm okay, if I'm supposed to open and I'm waiting for her to show up, I'm just okay. It's eating up my time, which could be precious time for anybody. It doesn't matter if it's even me. But, I was just shit, dude. I understand disrespecting me for one thing, but, that's getting to the point where, okay, what if, at home, I have no longer a stepdad, and, it's just my mom and I, and I'd like to just go and spend, precious time with my mom or some shit. Still grieving over shit. I want to fucking sit here at work. Anyway, that was starting to get into, the retaliation territory, and, I just wrote this down because I was like, dear God, I'm gonna have to just like everything's getting so technical. I don't know what to do now. So here we go. Like anything for the fact that like I don't know, literally, like I have to explain myself for no reason at all. Is what it is. Yeah. So I was just letting, because I mentioned I was on a TENS unit and I was at a chiropractor, had a doctor's note for just letting me have like a sitting break. Because if anybody's worked at Papa John's, yeah, we're about done here. Your fucking back, if you're on the make line, even if you don't have any back problems, or it comes to the point where you gotta like, yeah, like having a straight posture, you're still gonna be at an angle where it's like gravity is pulling on your, and it's like, I don't sound like a total dork, but hear me out. It's like you stand up after like making a shit ton of pizzas and you're like reaching over for all those toppings and stuff, and then like somebody beside you is kind of like in the way, but you gotta reach over and all that kind of shit. And uh hopefully your knees are not in bad shape because there's doors underneath it. It's like the little, I forget what the fuck it's called, make line or whatever the fuck. Anyway, that's for extra storage. So it's like, you know, like the shit underneath it, this little extra door, you gotta like make sure nobody is behind you. It's like, watch out. Whoop. Or if they're in front of the door, you gotta, you know, say, even if you don't really like this person, like, hey, it's like a factory line. Like, I need to get to this door. Can you please move out the way? And they get pissed off because they have to move. So anyway, I'm sure people are starting to relate to this, and I'm just glad that this is hopefully helping. You know, like people feeling at least valid of what you went through. This is for me mostly just to put this out there, but anyway. I just let the girl that calls dude store manager dad know of the doctor's appointment, or the doctor's note of me needing to sit down every now and then. It's not like, yeah, you know, anyway. So, sorry. But literally, I'll just put, yeah, like, here we are going to the phone, just being on your fucking phone, and one of the girls that's the twins, W, is just sitting on her phone while everyone else is working. And I just wrote that down. And it's the same day that girl calls store manager dad, showed up at fucking 4:55, like 20 minutes later than the shit was scheduled to. And this was something like, anyway, totally tangent mode, but anyway, she did that a lot. And that same day, you know, somebody's just on their phone and just fucking just chilling, just letting everybody else, you know, take the brunt of the work and stuff. But I had to repeat to a customer multiple times when I was at the register this same day, because this girl that calls the store manager dude dad was yelling so fucking loud just over an order that got canceled. So this isn't to villainize her, but it's just, she did not care about who was around her. You had to know what was on her mind. And the customer just kind of like, okay, my bad. See, she's having a bad day. I was like, so you had a, and then you know, so that you get the idea. To the point where it's hostile, so hostile at this work environment, the customers are like, yikes. This doorbell, the same day we're working, the same day, this is all going down, I just listed, and the girl is still on her phone, and we've got this doorbell that says like, ding dong. I'm sure probably some people, I don't know, might have this same fucking door. I fucking remember it in my dreams, dude. But literally, they're starting to become more customers, just building up, because there's nobody at the register, I believe, because I wrote down, everyone is working and she's on her phone. W girl is still on her fucking phone. So, whatever. Anyway, I just wrote that down. And trying to knock out as much as I can of this, because we're getting to the point now where it's about to get so finicky. I'd rather make it into another video because it's fucking disgusting of how this happened. But after I clocked into a closing shift, I just reviewed the scheduling roster, and I'm closing. So for my closing shift, and that's when you just go and check your shit, check the vitals of the situation, you know. Anyway, W is scheduled that day to come in at 4:30, and I wrote down at that time, I guess when this was being written down, it's 4:38, so it's about 10 after when she's supposed to be there, but she's not there. And so I quickly just called the store manager, just doing my fucking job, to let her know, because I didn't ever get a call from anybody, even from me coming to show up, like presently, physically showing up. Never got a physical phone call or a text message like, hey, I'm going to be late or anything like that, which is fine. Just relaying the message, and usually the messenger gets fucking shot in this regard because, yeah, the store manager girl goes, hold on, I'll call her and see what's going on. So in this regard matter, I'm just being looked at and treated as, like, a fucking troublemaker, and this is why I started to just realize, like, I know I'm doing the right thing, but it's also eating away at me so much where I was losing weight from not really giving myself the proper diet of nutrients. I'm not ashamed to admit that, because, yeah, I ate to keep myself alive, but I wasn't, like, on any type of, like, ED. If it was, then it's probably, like, just, you know, from so much anxiety and stress, your stomach turns, like, into a fucking pretzel, and, you know. And about that point, I can just, like, drink a smoothie or something and just go on with my fucking day, but, I think I was doing that too at that point, but anyway. This is the same day I'm working on my closing shift, and I was just letting the store manager know, at the same time too, that there's a delivery driver not present for his shift. So there's 2 people missing. So at that point, you can already kind of get the idea and the picture. Like, yeah, I don't really. I'm not saying this for me at that time. I gave a shit because I was trying to do my job, as you can tell from what I just told you. But it didn't matter about me. It's fine. It did not fucking matter. And I just started to feel so fucking disregarded, in the point of, like, I don't even care if you don't know the truth. I just want to be left the fuck alone. Anyway, girl finally shows up, and it was 20 minutes after she was scheduled, so that's where I was like, okay, now, anyway, let me just stop there. But she shows up. She arrives saying, sorry, I had printed out the wrong schedule. And then, just to notate that, but I guess store manager girl probably showed up to help with the shift, since we were missing a delivery driver, so I don't know what, that's the reason why she was there physically and why I wrote this down. But I hear her say about, like, basically her boss, which is not just her boss, but also the store dude manager's boss, say about this guy. He's like, I can't wait to hear him gripe about the numbers later. So I'm only assuming, like, we're really busy, but we were really, like, nobody showed up to work. And it's under my name. So, like, I'm closing at that point, and it was like 4:30, I guess. And this was around, like, 5 in the afternoon. That, about an hour fucking almost, yeah, no, fucking Jesus. Oh, God. So, yeah, time itself for me is just passing, like, by not even minutes, by seconds. Because I'm having to just be so fucking vigilant in the regard of, I want to be left the fuck alone. My personal bubble, establishing that and the boundary of it, but also having to also make sure I'm involved with this toxic shit, because it has to be written down, or else nobody would know about it. Nobody would have any idea, even if this video was posted, or whatever the fuck, yeah. this had not been from retroactive pay, just not even being paid, this would not fucking be happening right now. So, she's just kind of like in the remark, the store manager girl, she's just kind of talking about like her boss, like, can't wait to hear, how pissed off he is. So I was just like, I'll see how you guys talk about each other. I know that sounds super petty. So anyway, it's just like, I'm just here to write down, like, I'm a fucking court stenographer. So anyway, uh, that's where we start to get into the territory of it. Like, I've asked this one delivery driver to follow me because you have to take the extra money that is like cash, and you got all this money at the store present. You don't want your fucking store to get robbed as a company, so you have to go take all of that money to a bank after you close the store, because you can't just go. Some people have done that, and that's not really, I think, approved, or that's definitely frowned upon. Anyway, dude goes, sure, he agrees, but I remember him just saying, like, I usually don't follow unless I'm requested to do so. So, just a little rewind, the dude store manager and his wife that sometimes will show up while he's at work, I know she would follow him to the bank sometimes, so it was usually like, and I'm sure as far as it goes, like, paperwork wise, for you to be, like, literally trained under Papa John's to be qualified, in this position to do that, it doesn't have to be a delivery driver. So it's like, I guess no, it doesn't depend. I'm pretty sure it has to be a delivery driver because you got to get your mileage off of that and so on and so forth. So that's where I'm sitting there like, I don't think that's the fucking case. This shit's still fucking, yeah, like, you can tell. It's just the same shit of just like, I asked how the store manager girl's doing on a different day we're working. She asked how I was doing, and then I respond. I was like, good, how are you? And then she just doesn't reply. I understand, that's just the note. Anyway, I wrote down the cash register is $1.47 short, and she says the store manager girl says she'll pay it back if it comes out short at the end of the night. Totally professional, I know. I'm just writing this down for that matter and that's sake. But anyway, so anyway, this was okay, we're going fast forward now. Store manager girl pulls me aside, and I'm pretty sure, even though, like, my septum ring, yeah, it was visible, like, I wasn't the only one, but anyway, let's just start with that. She goes, after pulling me aside, there's a conference call earlier today that they were saying there can't be any more piercings, no more vaping because it's considered offensive. Let me just stop right there for a second, because I forgot to mention, a lot of people before the no vaping sign was put up, people were vaping there, not even just me, a lot. But anyway, literally, it'd just be like a little vaping section, and it would start to be apparent. You'd see like a little bit of some like foghorn leghorn. So yeah, I can understand that totally. And one of the people that did vape that I think no longer was working there, and I basically like took her position, but essentially while she was there, she had like the big giant vape mod, like the fucking big ass like battery that's like as big as a deck of cards, I guess, anyway. For those that don't know. But not nothing bad or anything. I was just saying, like, she was just there, and I was like, okay, that's cool, we can vape. Because she wasn't the store manager, but she was, basically under the store manager, and he also vaped too. But that's just, anyway, we're not talking about that, I guess. I'm not trying to, Sorry. So, earbuds, I remember this is before we started to all have like wireless anything AirPod, before AirPod was even like probably just started to become prevalent throughout. So it's just like the typical uh before, you know, the iPhone jack earphone. So I like my music, and if I, also at this point we're not talking to coworkers, I gotta have my music to get through the shift. So earbuds due to a customer complaint of being ignored. And I just put I was not made aware of this initial complaint before being notified of the changes. Nobody really let me know that I was ignoring a customer. Yikes. So this girl this girl store manager, yeah. Um it's not like I don't have like nothing nice to say about her, you know. So it's really just like the amount of intentional retaliation. All I can say is Karma's a bitch. I know that's being said a lot right now, but no, it's so fucking uh I was thinking that was it. That was it. But basically, yeah. Sorry. Anyway, uh, just typical hostile, or just it felt like fucking shit working there because people were like complaining about literally just having to do their job, because it was like this dude's complaining about how long he had to drive for a delivery, and he's just like literally just complain like, oh GD, you know. But anyway, uh, to the extreme of just like, can you just fucking not? Um, and this same dude calls me sweetie after I just helped him with something because I happened to be walking beside him, or I happened to be passing, and I saw something. I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, thank you, sweetie. And I politely state aloud that I had to make pizzas. Because I had to make pizzas, I would really appreciate if you didn't call me that, please. I don't know why I put that. That's, anyway. He responded, I don't understand what is said, so... Hang on, I'm so sorry. I would really appreciate if you wouldn't call me that, please. And he responds with mumbling. I put, I don't understand what was said, so I just reiterate. Yeah, I'm just letting you know for future reference. And he responds to where I'm able to hear, I guess, because I did hear this, but it was like, yeah, because you're not sweet. It's because you're not sweet anyway. What? I'm just letting you know for future reference, because please don't call me that. Blah, 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 blah. Well, either way, I'm just letting you know for future reference. That's for context how that sounded. And then, yeah, it's because you're not sweet anyway. I didn't know I had to be sweet for anybody or you and whatever. Yeah, that's where that whole not your baby is starting to. I don't know. I don't want to sound like that, and it sucks, dude. Um, Jesus Christ, it's another day, and this other W is sitting on her phone again, just fucking working. Everybody else is working. And then, girl that calls store manager dude dad says to W, this is why these two are closely associated together. She goes, yeah, store manager girl is probably going to kick our asses if we don't fold pizza boxes. So you already kind of see there's some transparency, or I noticed that. And I was like, alright, there's some like rivalry, I can't even say that right. Rival type of tension and shit like that. So anyway. And, I just remember hearing those two that are also at this time, I'm in the same age group as these two girls, and the store manager girl is a little bit older than us. So whenever that type of like, you know, it's starting to turn into workplace gossip, you're like, okay, like, what is it that I need to know about this, you know? So I'm not really listening. I just happen to hear, yeah, she's probably going to kick our ass if we don't fold boxes. So I was like, and, let's see. I asked store manager girl, calls dude dad about the schedule. Just there wasn't a schedule posted at all. Like walked in and there's like no like where you usually would see a schedule, no schedule at all. And she's like, yeah. I'll put as it's usually posted on this type of day, and it just wasn't. And she's like, yeah, it's because store manager girl's working at 3 different stores right now. So anyway, just still trying to knock this shit out as fast as I can, because that's how dumb it is, and I will get caught up in this shit for literally 2 fucking hours. She rushes out summer. Sorry, but anyway, it's already like well past. It doesn't really matter, but she just rushes out to go smoke a cigarette and was like, call me if you need me, to go smoke a cigarette while it was getting busy. Because sometimes, like, she would time it to where, like, she had good timing and she could tell. Anyway, not the best thing to do if you're going to be a manager. You should go ahead and just, yeah, anyway. So she would just dip out as soon as, like, somebody starts calling and there's, like, nothing to be made, and then it's, like, about to begin. She's like, I'll be right back. That's kind of what would happen. And then she's like, call me if you need me. And eventually we did have to call her because we needed fucking help. And, this was at 6 in the fucking evening. So, yeah, anyway. Like, it matters, but still, though, yeah. Like, we're going page 8. Holy shit. But, that's when, at this point, where I had... just to put for documentation, I was asking off for, and it was ironic that this is on April 20th, but anyway, we all cope in our own ways, let's just say that, and, not even anything to do with this, just literally the date of this being so ironic. I made a claim, finally at this point, with the Equal Employment Opportunity Center, to just everything that has happened in the past. I just try to explain really shittily in these videos. And the appointment, or like the day I'm supposed to go and physically sit down in this office, is on April 20th. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was funny as shit. Had to note that because I had to ask off for it, since we already had kind of like issues with just asking off for a doctor's appointment. But there was no issue once I had put in to request off that I was going to have to go speak to like somebody along the lines of like Better Business Bureau. It's probably gonna be like, yeah, like we might get the shit fucking kicked out of us, or I'm gonna lose my job if I don't let her off for this. So I was like, I didn't even take that into regard or account at the time, even. So I just put for documentation, and as it went on. And, yeah, just trying to make conversation, me just still working, and at that point it's March, it's in the middle of March, and I'm still just like, alright, got my EEOC appointment coming up, and all I gotta do is, I just gotta make it through, I'm strong as fuck, I got this. But anyway, I'm just making conversation with this dude that called me sweetie, but he's a delivery driver, so I didn't really have to see him much. But either way, you have to at some point, because you got to make sure, like, they don't have too much money on them, stuff like that, for, yeah, anyway. But, I was just making conversation in this one. I was like, is it cold outside yet? Before, like, probably just having to, like, put on a jacket, go outside and vape or something. And he just didn't answer. So I was like, whatever. It didn't matter if he didn't hear me. Even if he didn't hear me, it didn't matter. But I understand, like, if that's also toxic work environment, if that's considered that. But, different work day, girl that calls store manager dude dad. She's yelling, like, about a customer. I guess she was, like, on the phone, and anyway, she goes, I really hate that woman. I want to slap her. That shit really pisses me off. Again, I'm not offended. I was just like, okay, if we're gonna talk about customers like that, can you, like, not fucking let other customers hear that also? Because shit echoes when it bounces off the surfaces. But, different day. This is about a week later, and I just asked delivery driver how he was doing. He doesn't respond. And I was like, in a silly tone, probably like, how you doing? It was just nothing. Okay. And just to mention, going back from earlier before I mentioned there was another dude that was like touchy-grabby. This is the other guy. And he's kind of like hugging and kissing on the girl that calls dude store manager's dad on her neck in the middle of the store. So it's kind of like a hug. I remember in my mind visually, I just don't remember like, oh my god, no, I was just like, whoa, that's a little bit uncomfy. I'm gonna write that down. But it was just like him probably just hugging her, and then it's like, mwah. And I was like, that's a little fucking... Anyway, this girl's like my age, and this dude is literally... He's now probably... Anyway, yeah, at the time he's probably in his 60s now. He's probably like 70s, going in 80s. And yeah. Excuse me. So, yeah. I'm gonna cut this off here for now. 2 hours. I'm at the point where we're in March. Haven't gotten to my Equal Employment Opportunity Center appointment yet. Because, this is an entire Microsoft Excel thing I made for my schedule of when the shit started of calling out, yeah, all that shit from the beginning up until March 2018. It started from November 2017. Whew. So, this was to show to anybody who cared, for the relevance sake, that I was being scheduled, and I already bitched about that. I know, I'm very animated. I've said this before. I just got way too far ahead of myself. But I was like, I scheduled 3 hours to 6 hours to 9 hours. And I was like, at that point, is there any reason why? Also, I remember mentioning this, anyway, not getting caught up. But I remember asking the store manager about this. I was like, why do I have, like, 3 hours? This is March, okay? So, like, I remember her response to my question was like, it's tax season, or some shit. Because that's where I was trying to find at some point where I mentioned this, but, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm about done, yeah. Literally, I had asked her at some point, like, why am I scheduled such short hours, but like other people like that are just as qualified as much as I am, their assistant general managers are scheduled anyway. Just trying to find it. But yeah, I had asked her, and I was like, why do I not have, like, anyway, and, it was just very, like, yeah, like, the reason, man, is just, I remember her saying it's tax season. I'm trying to find that so I can literally just read it, but, like, I'm sure I will. At this point, I had no hours at this store. I called the other store and was like, hey, if you guys need anybody, I need the hours, because I'm about to, like, not be able to fucking... I already can't afford rent just about at this point, nor be able to afford to help cope with grieving the loss of somebody, but not only that, fucking this bullshit. And, anyway, I'm supposed to kind of, like, be worried about, like, moving out at that point, but it's just, that's way a fucking, that's a fucking, that ship did not sail. But for the most part, that's the main thing. I just wanted to emphasize. I'm not gonna sit here and just look through this the whole time, but like, as we're living it off there, that's when I put that I was working at this other store just out of nowhere because that's how casual this shit was. So, it's like this same week that I wrote this hostile work environment stuff down, like quotes and stuff, what people said, and then if you look at like my time schedule or whatever, I put like, God, I'm just reading some of this shit. It's just so hard. Anyway, I started to not have any hours there, and just boom, like they're like, hey, you're. I can't remember how it was. Just very. I just didn't give a fuck. Like, yeah, like to the point. Obviously, like you're not gonna turn down hours. So like, even if they want you to just get the fuck out of that store because they hate working with you, that's basically what fucking happened. Basically, and trying to convey that, I'm sure that looked like absolute bullshit. They tried to gaslight into me thinking that's bullshit whenever this was being talked about in a legal setting. So, yeah, just 3 hours, 6 hours to 9. But it didn't go from like, sorry. Excuse me. Shit. I took a Zyrtec, I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, yep. It's like 3 hours to 6 to 9, but it just wasn't getting any better more than that. And, I can't remember if somebody was like, hey, you go work at this store now. Like, anyway, that chapter is where we leave it off at. But, just the reason why I was scheduled fucking less than 10 hours as a manager. And usually when you're a manager, they have you as like a requirement is like, not if you're scheduled, if you want to be part-time, but you're technically about to go full-time. So like, yeah. Excuse me, I was like, what the hell? But anyway, I really want to just find this so bad. Because I know I still have on my iCloud, it's like from like, yeah, over the years, phone notes still there. I never deleted those because obviously you never know, but that was at the time, so still having that now, it's like, I barely use my phone note app because I don't like to look at that shit, and it's so unorganized because of that, and yeah. I'm pretty sure that reasoning I was given from asking about, like, hey, why am I not scheduled? Shit. Because I remember reading through this, like, yeah, when we started this, and I'm like, oh, I would have mentioned that, I'm sure, if I saw that for sure. It was like, when she's talking about, and I've got the cardigan that she says is too girly. Hold up. I found this from the fucking thrift store. And she said this is too girly. Milano, if that makes any difference, I don't know. I didn't care about the brand. I thought it was pretty. In terms of like that little, yeah, like. Anyway. This was too girly. It caused enough distraction for me to be notified that this is girly. Anyway. And I just remember that was happening. I'd be sitting there. So I was like, I gotta, yeah. But for the meantime, I really appreciate the feedback of just support of me trying to get this out there. I know it's really hard to watch, probably, or listen to, both, either one. But, like I said again and again before we go, I gotta pee really bad, but no. Hope this really helps somebody. I know it's still happening a lot, or if it has happened to you and you're, like, struggling and shit, like, just, feel valid with what you went through. Because I sure as hell did not. And this is helping me tremendously, is what I think. I was like, I need to mention this before anything else is said, after or whatever. So, yeah. Clocking out now at like 6 o'clock on a Monday. 4:20. Happy Earth Day. Woo! It sure is pretty outside, but, yeah. Hugs. See you guys later. Whenever, probably next week. But anyway, see ya. Take care.